Hey guys, Naveen here. Welcome back, Naveen Automation Labs. I hope you can hear me and see me properly. Thought of coming live as I in the last live video also we actually discussed and I promise that we will be coming live regularly now. And in every live we will try to pick one specific topic, and then for that specific topic we can take your questions as well, so that you will get an idea that how exactly we have to prepare for that particular topic, what kind of tools, technologies that we have to learn for that. So today's topic is all about the API testing, and then API test automation point of view and API testing point of view. What are the different topics and what exactly I have to learn, and how to learn, and I should not waste my time on unnecessary things or unnecessary tools, whatever the exact requirement, because API testing is a very fundamental thing. If your fundamental and basics are very important in API, like authentication and how exactly the different types of calls and everything, what do you mean by REST API, GraphQL, microservices and everything, that plays very important role here. Because if you are just going with the bookish definition or a simple definition about the difference between post and put, and then you have no idea how exactly these things work, and then how to automate that, what kind of testing, what is the scope of testing, and then why API testing is always in demand in the market. So if you're coming from the UI automation background with, let's say, for example, Selenium or Playwright or any XYZ tool, and then if you really want to know about API testing and everything, I think I'm sure that this video, that the conversation that we are going to have, that is going to help you a lot here. So I just want to confirm that are you able to hear me? Can you just put a comment here so that okay, I can see that some comments. Thank you. Okay, great. So still, you have any question? Just feel free to let me know. And before that, I would like to share a couple of things with you. And then I just want to confirm one more time that are you able to hear me properly and are you able to see me? Can you, there is no lag and everything is good, because this is a different laptop today I'm using. So maybe some configuration is missing, but I think it looks good. Let me quickly check on the YouTube also that I think we are already live. I can see some comments over here. Just a second. Okay, great. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, okay, great. I think that looks good. So, okay, so API testing. First of all, that try to understand that it's not like API testing something very new in the market. API testing is from the beginning, because without backend, without APIs, how can you interact with your backend system? How can you interact with, let's see, with the database? The entire data is actually coming through the APIs on the UI. It's not like browser is storing the data, right? So browser is not storing your user data or the product data or any kind of data. The data is coming from the different sources. Maybe it's a backend, or maybe you're some data centers or databases or whatever. So these APIs are actually the middleware, and these APIs are interacting, taking the data, taking the request from the client, and then server is responding back, and then server is getting the data from the uh, from the from the different sources or resources like database, or maybe some flat files, or maybe some file systems or file servers, and then we are getting back the data on the UI, and the UI is actually written in React or Angular or whatever. It's parsing the data and then displaying on the UI in good look and feel, where UI developers is using the HTML, CSS, and everything to present the data. So when we do the UI automation, that time we are already using that how exactly we can automate, like XPath, CSS, Selenium, and everything. We have to click on this, we have to apply some weight mechanism and everything, and then all different tools like Selenium, Playwright, and all those things are coming into the picture, and then we are trying to automate that. But if you think about, if your backend is not that strong, if your backend is really poor, it means how good looking you are, but you are not healthy internally from inside. Then in that case, it doesn't matter, that it means overall system is not working properly. Same case with the software, same case with the applications also. That backend testing is very important, that how healthy your backend is, how exactly that backend is responding and quickly responding properly or not. That's why, like if you talk about the performance testing also, performance testing generally is preferred at the backend side, right? At the API side, that okay, my API is responding back quickly or not, my database is responding back quickly or not. So majority of the performance engineering is done at the backend as well. So there are two types of backend testing we can perform here. One is actually completely non-functional testing where security and then performance and everything that we are doing it. Second is that the proper functionality, the proper functional testing we can perform with respect to backend. So we have to understand there are different varieties of APIs are available, or different varieties of frameworks and design patterns are available with respect to APIs. Like REST APIs are there, or maybe SOAP-based APIs are there, or GraphQL is there, or XML RPC calls are there, microservices are there. So all these are part of your API testing or the backend. So to perform that, we have to use certain tools. So first of all, that's a myth that that Selenium can perform API testing. No, Selenium is dedicatedly designed only for the UI interaction, only for the UI automation point of view. So we cannot use Selenium to automate APIs, right? So let's see if you're coming from the Selenium background. So I really need one dedicated, another tool also, or one more library also, so that I can integrate with Selenium. Let's see, for example, REST Assured. I can add the dependency of REST Assured along with the Selenium in my pom.xml file, and then I can UI interaction I can do with Selenium, and then for API interaction or API calling, I can use the REST Assured for that, and I can use any kind of test framework like JUnit or maybe TestNG or BDD based framework like Cucumber or anything that I can use it over here to write the assertion and to write the test cases and everything. But Selenium cannot automate APIs, right? So I get some messages and emails again, Naveen, can we do API testing with Selenium? No, we cannot perform that. We don't have any specific method to call the APIs and everything, although Selenium is internally using some HTTP client or HTTP JDK client, but they have not exposed the dedicated methods or dedicated APIs, just like we have actions class or select class to interact with the different elements on the page. As such, we don't have any methods in Selenium. But if you talk about Playwright, in Playwright, they have both the flavors available. In Playwright, we have UI automation also and the API automation also. Both we can do it. So you don't need to go with some other automation tool or any other specific library for that. Same thing with the Cypress also. With Cypress, we can perform API as well as UI automation as well with that. But if you're coming from the Selenium background, so Selenium, we have to integrate with some third-party libraries for that. For example, let's see if you are coming with already working with Selenium and Java, then you have to go with the maybe REST Assured, you can use that, or maybe some there are HTTP client libraries are available. Jersey client in Java is available, and there are other multiple different types of Java clients are available in the market. You can use that. But REST Assured is one of the best and one of the proven and very straightforward, very user friendly, very easy to use that, and then we can use it here. And the community support, just like we talk about UI automation with Selenium, same thing we talk about in terms of Java, we use REST Assured with that as well. But if you're talking about, let's say, Playwright or Cypress, you don't need to go with some other automation tool. You can just, within the same UI code, you can write your API test code also there. Okay. But before that, one important thing is that we have to have, if you're coming from the API testing background or really want to learn API automation or API testing, before automation, you have to understand the basics of APIs. What do you mean by REST call? What do you mean by REST API? What do you mean by SOAP-based API? What do you mean by microservices? What do you mean by monolithic environment? And how exactly APIs are developed? And then how to call it? How exactly we are getting the response? What do you mean by status code, error code, and all those things? We have to have some basic knowledge about that. And then for that, you have to practice. It's not like day one, I'm writing some REST assured code or something like that, and then hitting the API without any specific knowledge. So you should go and talk to your developers, go to your team, and then talk to your development team that do you have API documentation available, maybe in the form of some API docs are there, or maybe Swagger documentation. So just like we have a documentation in the Wikipedia or maybe in the conference pages, same thing for API technical documentation, that what kind of call it is. It's a post call, put call, delete call. What will be the response? What kind of a status code? And what kind of error codes that we are supplying over here. So complete documentation, what will be the JSON payload, what will be the request payload, what kind of authentication that we have applied. It's actually documented in a proper tool, maybe Swagger or other. There are various documentation tools are also available that is used by the developers, so that it will be common for everyone. So tomorrow, if you really want to test it, you can refer that documentation And then if I really want to develop something as a Java developer, as a backend developer, I can refer that particular documentation. So first thing is that you have to ask, you have to gather the information about the APIs, what are the different APIs are available in the project, and and how to automate, what is the scope, can I automate these number of APIs or these number of backend automation or backend APIs are available, what kind of format, what kind of designs that they are using, what kind of style of APIs designs that they are using it. Maybe they are using SOAP based along with the REST APIs. Maybe they're using a lot of GraphQL APIs also. So you should know what is the difference between REST, SOAP, GraphQL, microservices, XML, RPC calls, and everything. You should know about it, right? But 90% cases, REST APIs are being used, which is because of these are very lightweight fundamentals and lightweight designs, and very easy to implement. Also, community support is also really great. And then you should know that which tool we are going to use that. So before automation, again back to the point that you should know about the Postman. Postman is a must for every API automation guy. If you are a backend developer, if you are a API automation tester or API tester also, that you should have the Postman in your system so that you can call the API, you can hit the API, get the response, you can check overall request and response layout within the Postman and how exactly these APIs are responding, how exactly these APIs are we are calling and then getting the response from there, and what kind of a status code, error code that we are getting it. So before writing the automation, it's a routine activity, just like we are manually testing the UI automation, UI application, we are filling it, and then we are writing the automation. Same thing for API backends. We have to have some client. So Postman will behave like a client for me. These are called API clients. It could be a REST client also, it could be a GraphQL client also, or maybe HTTP client also, or maybe FTP client, or there are multiple services and different types of services supported by a Postman. You can use one of them, right? So once the Postman is available, that's where the Postman learning is very, very important in the beginning. Everyone should have, and it's very easy to install it, very easy to use it. It's having proper UI, proper graphical interfaces available where you can supply the request information, your path parameter, your query parameter, your different types of authentications are available. You can supply that, and then you can hit it, and then you will get the feel, you will get the confidence that okay, yeah, this is how my all these APIs are working or not, right? Okay, so first is API with the Postman that you have to learn, and Postman also having the features to automate, to write the automation script with the JavaScript. You can write some amazing JavaScript code also, some inbuilt code snippets also available, test examples are available. You can use that. For example, let's see if I'm hitting one API and getting some JSON response. So I can parse the JSON response. Some inbuilt methods are already available, and you can customize the code also. You can create your own basic JavaScript functions also. You can create it. But with the Postman, you have to learn only and only. You have to use only and only JavaScript over there. So some existing wrappers are already available. Some existing modules are created on top of JavaScript created by Postman. You can use it here, like pm.request or pm module is available, and they can hit the API, get the response, parse the response. You can validate, write some assertion with the help of chai assertions. You can write it, some more test cases. You can write it, you can execute it, you can write some correlation, you can write some let's see API chaining also. You can create complete workflow also. You can create complete CRUD operation also. You can create it here with the Postman. So if let's see you don't want to use REST API automation, or sorry, REST API with the REST assured, right? You are not good in Java, and then your team is not that skillful that, oh no, I don't want to spend much amount of time on the REST assured because I'm okay with the Postman, and then I really want to use Postman. And we have very small API, let's see, 5, 10 APIs are there, and then the scope is also not that great. So I think Postman is one of the best tools which are available. Within that, you can do the proper testing also. You can check all the APIs are working properly or not, and then you can write the automation code also. And good thing is you can run it from the command line, from the Newman. It can be integrated with your CI/CD pipeline also, and then running with the Jenkins or GitHub Actions, or and it can be integrated with the main developer pipeline. And then the moment, let's see, something is getting deployed or build is getting deployed on the QA or the stage environment, immediately it will trigger your test cases also with the help of Newman and the Postman collections. You can run it, and then you can create a complete workspace and you can work in a collaborative environment. Let's say you and me working together. You have written some APIs, I have written some API test code, and then I can share it. I can share my collection with you, and we both can work on the same collection. The entire team is working on the same collection. We can write the test cases over there. So it's a very, very good, amazing tool, and a very well proven tool. And although it's having both the modules, community support also, community pricing also, and the pricing model also, and the free tool also, you can use it here. But with the free, most of the things are already available, right? Along with that, with the Postman, there are some really good features like load testing also, you can do it. So you don't need to pick any other external tool like JMeter or some Gatling or K6 for that. If you have some limited APIs and some very less or quick use cases for the performance testing point of view, you can increase the load, you can give the RAM size, you can give the thread count and everything within the particular functional test cases as well. So functional test cases along with performance, both you can write together in the Postman. So that is the beauty of a Postman. You can do it over here, right? So for example, let's see, let me just share my screen. I hope you can share. I can see my screen here with respect to, okay, see that. This is the Postman. I hope you can see it. Let me just confirm that. Just can you confirm, are you able to see my screen with respect to Postman? Okay, yeah, okay, thanks. So see this, this is what the Postman will look like. And then some basic script that you can write it. And then let's see, for example, create a user. In order to create a user that, for example, let's see, I really want to create a user. And then some really good features like environment you can create, just like we have QA environment, the stage environment, multiple environment, mocking services, everything you can create it here. And see, this is the, let's see, a post call. And this is the body that I really want to supply. So let's see, this is the JSON body that I really want to supply. I really want to supply the random email ID. So you don't need to write a specific function for that. There are some environment existing variables are available. You can generate the random name, random email ID, and everything. And then after that, what exactly you want to validate. So see, these are my test cases that I have written, some basic test cases that I have written. The response status code should be 201. And before that, I'm parsing the JSON response. I'm picking the user ID. And then I'm setting the user ID and then fetching the user ID over here so that I can use this user ID for the next call. So next call will be, let's see, a get a user. That will be a get call. And then I'm using the user ID over here. And then against that, I have written some test cases here as well. You can see that pm.test and test blocks that I have written here. So basic script also you can write it. There are some snippets also available. You can just quickly check these snippets also. Update a user, delete a user, get user after delete call. So complete workflow, you can execute it from here. You can just simple click on that and then you can run this particular collection and then you can just do the performance testing over there as well, right? So that is like amazing thing. You can do it here. And some really complex example if you really want to do. So let's see, I have some collection that I have created with the Postman scripts. If you see that, let's see, get data from the array. And then I have to validate some array elements over here. So you can just validate that. See, compare value with respect to the response that also I have created. So I'm just giving some examples here. Let's say I really want to generate some random string or random email IDs. I really want to write my own custom method over here for the random email ID. See, I have written over here like that. So that will give me the random string here and then it will append with some domain here like @test.com or abc.com. And then I can use this particular random email in the body and everything. So precondition, prerequisite is a script. After that, if you have any test script, that also you can write it here. So it's just not like that with respect to Postman. I cannot write my script. I can write the JavaScript also, and then I can at least design one workflow. And most of the test cases I can automate over here as well. The best thing about the Postman, I like it, the kind of authorization supports that they are having it. If you see that, no auth, basic auth, bearer token, JWT, digestive authentication, and OAuth 1.0, OAuth 2.0, Hawk authentication, AWS signature, APIs keys, and like almost everything that they are supporting here. JWT bearer token also, you can generate that complete workflow with 1.0 and 2.0. Let's say Twitter 1.0 or 2.0 APIs you really want to automate. How to get the refresh token? You really want to create a workflow with that. With 1.0, you can do that as well without any manual intervention. So all the field provided with respect to 1.0, 2.0 that they have given here. How to generate the JWT token, fetch the JWT token and then use it. You can do that as well. And the same thing, you can write some script also. For example, let's see if I show you here that JWT token API, right? So let's see if I really want to call this particular user me API, that I really want to get the user. Okay, it's a get call, but before that, I really need to validate a token. I really need to generate a token dynamically. So before that, I have written a basic script over here, and you see that this is a some script that I have captured, and then I have set the environment variable with this JWT token. And the same JWT token, I can use it in the next call also here, which is I have parameterized it over here with the authorization header that I'm passing it here. So, and when I execute this complete workflow as a collection, so first it will generate the token from here, and it will supply the token to the user me API, and then get user info API here as well. So token wise and parsing the token and supply the token from one request to another request, it's really great here. Same thing, let's see, I've created one Twitter API for the authentication API point of view. That is also we have here. So this is the code that I can see, I can show you, where I'm generating the token, get request token, and supply the token to other APIs in the form of OAuth token here, like that. But you can just go through it, and then a lot of things you can do. You don't need to use any specific library for that. If you are not comfortable with the Java or maybe some specific big libraries, you really want to write your test cases, write your code within Postman, you can use it here as well. And then it's a collaborative environment within the company, within the team. 5 people are working together. You guys can maintain maintain the code over here as well, and then you can just later on all these data or whatever the script that you have written, you can move it to the GitHub also, and then GitHub Actions code also you can write it for the CI/CD point of view, or you can easily integrate these things with the help of Newman and the Jenkins also. You can use it here, and there are a lot of good things are available. Environment specific variables that you can set it. Mocking APIs also you can set it. Monitoring also we can do it. Load testing also, performance testing also we can do it. Functional testing also we can do it. We can write the code also, creating the multiple collections and everything. So it's a complete package, I would say, in the Postman, that you can do a lot of good things over here. For if you have a quick APIs to automate, you can automate that as well, right? Okay, now let me come back to this. Okay, just a second. Some comments are actually taking some time. Okay, now, but let's see if your team says or management says that, okay, that you guys have decided, I don't want to go with the Postman script. I really want to use a dedicated library for that. That also that you can use it. And then it depends which programming language that you really want to use. For example, let's say if you're coming from the Java background or you're comfortable with Java, then in that case, you go with the rest assured library, which is very, very popular. You can use, there are other different Java clients also available. So remember one thing, whenever we talk about, let me share my screen. So whenever we talk about the specific language specific, so every time we have to check that what exactly the API client, right? So which library is giving me the API client? For example, let's see if you really want to use with respect to Java, then we have, let's see, rest assured is available. Then we have HTTP client is actually available, where use this HTTP client to call the APIs, right? Then you can use, let's see, Jersey client is also available, or there are some other different types of other Java clients available in the market, and all these are open source. You can use it. You don't need to pay anything for that. So if you are, let's see, you love writing the code, and then you are a hardcore Java guy and then hardcore a programmer guy, that you can better to use and these API clients, and then start doing it. Same thing with the Python also. We have a request module which is available with respect to Python. That also you can use it here. So let's see, for Python, I'm talking about the request modules. I have a video also on my channel. You can go with that. Same thing, let's see, if you are coming from the JavaScript background and I really want to use something with respect to functional testing. So there are various tools are available. So let's see, you can use Playwright also with that. You can use Cypress also. You can use like one of the library like Pactum.js is also available. Or there are various JavaScript API clients libraries are there in the market. You can use it as, you can install it as your npm module. You can define the dependency in your package.json, and then you can use with that as well. But let's see, if you're coming from the Playwright background or Cypress background, then you don't need any third-party library within Playwright or within Cypress. You can write both the things together. You can write your UI automation also, plus API automation also. Both you can do it over here if you're using the Playwright or the Cypress. But if you're using Selenium, so Selenium with Rest Assured is one of the best and deadly combination which is there in the market, which is, let's see, if you're coming from the Java background, you can use it because Selenium is supporting Java, obviously, and Rest Assured is also a Java DSA library for the API automation. So you can use it here in Selenium library. And the Rest Assured dependency, you can add it in your Pomod XML file and you can use them together. And I would always advise one thing here, that don't pick some basic APIs which are there. Always pick some real-time API examples. What I have seen that maybe some courses are there. I'm not taking any, I'm not saying that courses are good or bad. I'm not promoting anything, but check that, okay, in that particular course or in that particular channel also, how exactly the APIs are built, how exactly which API that they are using. Are they really using some real-time API examples? I have seen that people, they just create simple basic CRUD operations, post, put, and delete and everything without any authentication. You just call the API, get the response, and write some 2 or 3 lines of code, and then done. That is not a right way of practicing the APIs. For APIs, you have to find out some really good examples, and there are plenty of examples are available in the market. So you start with, always start with where authentication is there. That will give you the real time exposure of the APIs. For example, that we have Go REST API, request res.in, Booker APIs, weather APIs are there, IMDb, movie database APIs are there, weather APIs, forecast real time APIs, authentication APIs with respect to, let's see, Twitter APIs are there, Instagram APIs, Facebook API, GitHub Actions, GitHub APIs are there with respect to OAuth, and then API with Swagger and everything. So these are the real-time APIs examples are available, because here we are not going to develop the APIs. I'm not an API developer or backend developer. I'm not going to create one Spring Boot application where, or a Spring Boot a framework where number of CRUD operations or different types of APIs, post, put, delete, I'm creating it and then I'm going to test it. No, I want some ready-made APIs which are already publicly available in the market, or some with some proper authentication. I can go with that as well. Second thing I really want to talk about, that whenever you are learning APIs, please majorly you have to focus on the authentication part also. There are various types of authentication. Like for example, let's say simple basic auth. Then you should know what do you mean by basic auth, what do you mean by digestive auth, what do you mean by primitive auth, is what is the difference between basic, digestive, and primitive auth. What do you mean by OAuth 1.0 and 2.0? Very famous interview question as well. What is the workflow of 1.0, 2.0? What is the difference between 1.0 and 2.0? You should know about what do you mean by JWT token, or you can say JOT token also, or JWT refresh token, or what is the signature of the JWT token? What do you mean by keys? And then what is the security key is available in the JWT token? What is the concept of public and private key in the JWT token? You should know about it. This is very, very popular interview question, very famous authentication type also. These days, people are using it. Other than that, there are some API keys, public key, private keys, how to get the keys, how to enable the key, how to use those keys in your framework so that I can authenticate my APIs and everything. Because authentication is providing the security. Otherwise, anyone can access any APIs right in your system, of your system. I just need to get the endpoint URL. I hit that URL and get the data, right? But it's not like everything is publicly available. These are the private APIs or authentication APIs where we have to provide the authentication, then only it will supply the data. Otherwise, it will always give you that you are not authorized to use this APIs here. So authentication is very important. And for every authentication, there is a workflow. For example, OAuth 1.0, 2.0, how to get the refresh token, and to use that particular refresh token, how to get the bearer token, and use the same bearer token with the verifiers, suppliers, and everything, and then how to enable it. What is the workflow of authentication of 1.0 and 2.0? Why 2.0 is better than 1.0, right? So you can take those examples for the practice point of view. That will give you a clear picture, not only for interview point of view, but for the project point of view also. It will be very, very helpful to automate the things. In fact, in the Postman also, if you don't want to automate, you just want to check it manually, that also you can do it with respect to OAuth 1.0 and 2.0 here, right? So authentication is very important here. Second thing I really want to highlight, that learn about JSON and learn about XMLs also, because majority, 99% cases, the JSON and the XML are the medium to communicate between a client and the server, or communicate between one server to another server. So whatever the request that you are sending to the server, that is we are sending in the form of JSON, and whatever the response that we are getting, that is also coming in the form of JSON or XML. So let's see, you are getting a huge response. Then how to automate that? What are the different JSON parsers APIs are available in the market? Or let's see, if you're coming from the Java background, you can talk about Google JSON, JSON APIs or JSON APIs, which is available here. You can talk about the Jackson APIs also, to parsing the JSONs and everything. For XML also, a DOM4j or XML4j APIs are available in the market in Java. That also you can use it here. So Google JSON, and then a simple JSON is also available here. Okay, JSON dedicated libraries are available. Jackson API, which is very popular with respect to a POSO conversion. So what do you mean by serialization, deserialization? These are the important topics that you have to learn. For example, let's see, in real time, you're working in e-commerce application. You're hitting one API for, let's see, for a specific category, give me all the products. So category is electronics, and there are thousands of products are there, or hundred of products are there. How will you parse it such a huge response that you are getting, right? So you should know what is the right technique to use it, what is the right way of parsing these APIs. If you really want to supply a huge request payload also, request JSON also, so you should know that how to use it. I don't want to, obviously you are not going to supply the complete JSON string, which is very huge. This is a hard-coded string that we are using. But what do you mean by POSO, right? What do you mean by POSO to JSON? And then JSON to POSO, you should know about it. So for that, you should have the basic knowledge about the Java concepts, Java OOPS concept, that you should know about it. That what do you mean by constructors? What do you mean by Java objects? What do you mean by POSO means plain old Java object? What do you mean by encapsulation? What do you mean by getters and setters and everything? You should know about. Then only you can just create a nice POSO object or Java object which will hold the entire JSON, and then dynamically you can use it. So these are some really good and one of the best approaches for parsing the JSONs and everything. We can use it over here, right? Okay, so let me check if I, okay, we'll take questions after some time. There is other thing also, guys. Remember that whenever we talk about the API automation, there are various tools are available in the market. I'm not saying that, okay, these are the only tools. There are various tools which are there in the market. I'm not saying everyone has to use only REST assured or something like that. So it depends. Like let's see, in your project, you're using some other third-party APIs or something like that. So maybe in that case, just a second. Okay, maybe in that case you can pick that particular tool. But the fundamental, the concept will always be same. You have to hit the API. You have to get the response. So always remember that first thing is that you have to create a request, right? A request body, you have to think about it. In the request, what are the things? What kind of HTTP method it is? It could be what? It could be a get call. It could be a post call. It could be a put call, right? What do you mean by a put here? What do you mean by delete here? What do you mean by patch here? You should know about the proper definition according to the RFC documentation. What are the different best practices a developer is using to create these get, post, put, and delete? Or you can say, talk about the CRUD operations, right? HTTP method, you should know about it. What will be the endpoint URL, right? That you should know about it. What are the different resources that you are using, that user resources, or from the employee data you really want to get, and right along with the resources, you should know about your query params or maybe path parameters. So you should know what you mean by path parameters and the query parameters. You must have seen, right, that let's see, if I really want to filter the data, there are 1,000 products are there, but I really want the product name equal to MacBook and color is equal to white. So name, and on the basis of name and the color, I'm giving the query parameter. So out of 1,000, let's say only 50 products are there. So along with my endpoint, along with my resources, endpoint URL, I can give my query parameter also there. So that is, you should know, you should collect the data, and then on the basis of that, you have to create a complete request here, right? And complete request here. So that is the first part. Other than that, there are a couple of other things also. Authentication also you have to supply. What kind of authentication it is. Other than that, you should know that what are different headers. Maybe header in the form of what exactly the content type, what will be the authorization code or authentication token that you are using it here, or maybe some external token ID or some refresh token, or maybe some other whatever the XYZ header that you have to supply to get that specific data. So that will be part of headers also. Maybe in case of some cookies, also you should know if you're using the concept of cookies, that also you should know about it, that you have to make sure, okay, part of request. And the most important part is the request payload. Like I'm talking about the request body actually here. So request body could be what? Request body could be a normal string also. It could be a normal any kind of text also. It could be a JSON also. It could be one maybe XML also. It could be some encoded. Let's say I'm writing encoded URL also, right? So there are various types of request body, and it could be a raw type also with maybe some text or some number that you are passing, right? So request body also you have to supply. And then once you supply, you hit the APIs and then getting the response. So second part will be the response part, right? So you are getting one response, and the response is always having one status code. So now you should know what are the different varieties of status code families, like 200, 2xx or 4xx or 3xx or 5xx. What do you mean by 200, 201, 206? What do you mean by 400 bad request, 401 unauthorized, or 500 internal error or server down or something like that, forbidden error with respect to 403 and all those things. So varieties of status code. Let's say request is completely hit, but you are not getting any data from there. So what kind of response code that you will be getting it here? So you should know about the status code. Along with that, any, let's see, some error that you are getting, or 4xx that you are getting. So you should know about what is the response error code also, or any error message also that you are getting it. Along with that, what exactly the response payload you are getting it, or response body also, you can say that. Let's say your request is completely hit, completely successful, and then in the response, I'm getting some data, right? Maybe in the form of JSON, I would say maybe in the form of JSON or XML or maybe some HTML also. You are getting it, and then you have to parse it along with that. So whenever you are getting the response, you validate that, and then along with that, you are getting some response headers, you are getting some cookies, you are getting some other extra, maybe some attributes, some information that you are getting it. Along with that, you have to write an assertion. You have to validate that whatever we are getting, it's correct or not. On the basis of that, it will be pass or fail, right? So these are the things. Doesn't matter which tool that you are using it. Again, come to the same point. Any tool that you are creating, any existing tool, codeless automation tool, or with code, or rest assured, or Postman, or anything, everywhere the concept will remain same. You have to create a request, and then you have to get the response, and then you have to validate that particular response over here. And the how to validate in terms of assertion, what are the different things that you are going to validate? The first thing that I'm going to validate, that the status is correct or not, or headers are correct or not, whatever the body, the JSON body is coming correctly or not, or some very important or some very mandatory attributes you really want to validate according to your acceptance criteria or your test cases. You can validate here as well, right? So everywhere the tools that I'm talking about here, either you talk about Playwright or Cypress, I have full dedicated videos available on my channel for Playwright, Cypress, API automation, Pactum.js, not Pactus, it's a Pactum.js, or any other third-party libraries, rest assured, HTTP client, Jersey, Java client, request module, Postman, everywhere the concept is same, that you should know about the request and the response. How will you get this information? Because this information is not visible on the UI, right? For that, you should know, you should go and talk to your developers, dev team, and then along with the dev team, you fetch, maybe they are maintaining some Swagger documentation, right? So this is called a Swagger doc. Swagger doc is a kind of API documentation where all these informations are written along with the endpoint, along with the JSON, along with the authentications and everything. So complete documentation is available for your APIs in the Swagger doc. If you're not using Swagger documentation, maybe they are using some wiki pages, or maybe they have maintained in some conference pages also, right? Go and check with that, or maybe some other third-party documentation to maintain that they are using it here. So go and talk to them. They will share it with you. And then on the basis of that, you will start collecting your data. And then first thing you have to do it, hit all these things in the Postman, get the feel of the APIs. Are we really getting the response or not? That is one of the best feeling in the API automation, that first time you hit the API and get the response, you're getting 200 and getting the proper data, getting the proper response. So maybe sometime you face some challenges. It will be challenging initially that, okay, some APIs are not working properly, or maybe your IP is not whitelisted, or maybe authentication is wrong, or maybe the JSON that you are supplying, that is a bad request, or that is a bad data. So you might get some errors, but once you clear all the things according to your documentation or something like that, then in that case, you will start getting the proper response, proper data, and then you just do proper testing over there, and then it's time to automate that. And good thing about API automation is that, what is the best thing? With respect to API automation, guys, you can achieve at least approximate to 100% automation. You can do it. I have seen where 10 APIs are there. People have automated everything, all different scenarios that I have automated. So the test coverage is really good as compared to the UI automation, because in UI you cannot automate everything, and you should not automate also. If you see the pyramid of test pyramid, first thing is always go with the unit test cases. Then we have SITs, then we have APIs, and then only small part is left for the UI automation point of view or your exploratory testing point of view. So UI automation or UI automation, if you're doing, that should be around 30-40% automation also. If you have done properly, that is also more than enough. But if you have achieved, let's say 80, 90, 95% automation with API, that is a really good coverage, and it is actually a doable. You can do it here with respect to API automation, because these are some simple endpoints are there. Once you have the data available, you just hit this and then get the response, and then check it properly, and that's it. So test coverage, it's really, really great. You can good test coverage. I can say here with respect to API automation here, right? So focus on your backend, focus on the API also. If you have the scope of API automation, pick the right tool with respect to your resources, with respect to the skill set, the requirement and everything, and check that, okay, yeah, this is the right tool, this is the best tool, which is getting fit for our API automation, and then let's go with that. So focus on the API also here. Okay. Now, I have prepared one documentation also for you guys. Let me just share it, that this is a 12 weeks plan. If you want, you can just connect me separately for that. This is a 12 weeks plan to prepare for the API testing and the automation. So what you have to do, how exactly you have to start. So let me just quickly go through with that as well. So in the week 1 and 2, learn about all the introduction APIs, terminologies, what do you mean by web services and everything. And then after that, in that, I have written, let's see, day 1 to 7, 1 week you spend time on what do you mean by different types of call, get call, post, put, and delete. What do you mean by REST APIs, post APIs, and everything? What is the difference between REST and SOAP and all those things? Basic fundamentals, you just go with that. And then you have the Postman basics in the week 3 and 4, where you talk about different, how to hit the APIs, how to work with the Postman, how to install it and everything, how to hit the APIs, get the response, how to validate that, manipulations and everything, environment variable in the Postman. And then we have advanced Postman along with the Newman also, then where you can just create the number of some really good scripts and running the script and creating the collections with the Newman. Sorry, running it with the Newman, how to install it and running it from the command line, right? So just like we have Maven, right? Maven clean install from the command line. So same thing here in the Postman, they have created one dedicated command line tool, that is a Newman, which is helping me to run my test cases from the command line, from the command prompt, from the terminal. So command line execution, you can do it. And the same thing you can configure in your Jenkins also. You can do it here as well. And then say some, you can generate some documentation. You can generate some HTML test reports also here. There are some third-party libraries are available, which is supporting the Postman collections. And then you can generate some beautiful test report in HTML. How many test cases got passed, fail, and everything. You have to practice a lot to write the test script using JavaScript, which is very, very popular these days, that JavaScript and the chai assertion, automate test cases and everything. And you have to practice, you have to write the code, and then you have to execute, get the response and everything. And code is very straightforward, very simple. If you have the basic knowledge about the JavaScript, you can easily write it over here as well. I'm not saying you have to be really good in JavaScript, but if you know the basic thing, for loop, if else condition, basic assertions, chai assertions, if you are aware of it, you can easily write your test cases with Postman. Once it is done, I'm not writing all the bullet points here, but very high level points that I have written. When it is done, then you can move to the rest assured part. As I mentioned that, what do you mean by rest assured? How exactly it is working? How to set up with respect to your Java project or Maven project? Perform the CRUD operations using the rest assured. So there are some two types of approaches are there in the rest assured, along with BDD based, like given when then based test cases also you can write it, or without BDD also you can write it. So that is another feature of rest assured that you can do it. That is a very popular. And then if you're writing with the BDD format, it's very readable also in the rest assured. You can do it that as well. And then different payloads, authentication methods, explore core features of rest assured. Just like we do it in Selenium. First we talk about all the core features of Selenium, then we design the framework, or then we move to the advanced features. Same thing here, just go through all the core features of rest assured, and then you go to the advanced part here. Then advanced part like including the BDD approach, logging, assertions, work with the query and the path parameter, JSON and XML extraction methods and everything, practice serialization, deserialization, use Hamcrest for the assertion. Hamcrest is another third-party library which is perfect fit for the assertion point of view in the rest assured, and it provides a lot of good various assertion methods, right? To be count, or let's see, and to be size, and the size should be 6 or something like that. So instead of proper test ng assertion, you can use the Hamcrest assertions to make your test cases with the proper validation, proper assertions point of view. You can use that third-party library also here. And then the end-to-end test framework that you have to design for the rest assured, set up a Maven project, define the folder structure, design your API automation components, right? Write your API test cases with testng. Obviously, you have to use testng or JUnit at the rate test annotation, before annotation, and then number of assertions that you have to write. You have to implement the data providers, and then data-driven testing with, let's see, data is you are supplying from Excel, CSV, or JSON or anything. You can supply it from there. You can use the object mappers, factory patterns, and everything. You can use it here. And then you have to create same thing, just like we do it in Selenium. You have to create your runners with testng.xml file, and then run it from there, and then end-to-end test framework that you are running it. And later on, the infrastructure part, like you have to maintain the version control, like Git repositories or something like that. You can push your code, pull your code, maintain the repositories, and then complete framework is designed. Push the code to the repository, raise the PR, and then take the PRs also, validate the PRs, and merge the code to the master branch, and then integrate with the CI/CD pipeline, Jenkins, and everything, or whatever XYZ CI/CD tool that you really want to use. You can use it here. Later on, if you really want to use the concept of Docker, you can Dockerize your API automation. That is some really good tech. You can use it here. For example, let's say I've designed this framework and then I've combined in a Dockerized image. And I can deploy this Dockerized image, maybe with the help of CI/CD, or host this particular or register my Docker image on some Docker hub. And then I can give this particular Docker image to anyone. And they don't need to set up anything. They just need to run Docker run command and along with this image, and then API automation test cases will start running on their machines. That is something really cool stuff that we do. We can easily do with Selenium also. We can do it with API also. We can do it. You can Dockerize your API test automation suite, and then move it and deploy to any other machine. Let's say to the client machine, or any other manual testers also. You can give it to them, and then they just need to download this particular image and then run it. So they will start running the test cases and everything, and then automatically it will start within one single command. You don't need to set up anything in their system. They just need to have the Docker on their system, and that's it. So Dockerize also you can do it here. And then advanced reporting and Maven and all those things that we have written. Like if you really want to use some fancy reporting like extent report or LAO report, that you can do it here. Explore Maven as a build automation tool. You can use Gradle also. I haven't mentioned, but you can use Gradle also to design the framework and run it from the Maven. Same command you can configure with the Jenkins, with the CI/CD pipeline or Jenkins. Jobs also, you can do it here. Learn about mocking with my WireMock, which is a very popular tool. And Mockito is also there with the JUnit, but that will be slightly complex for the tester's point of view. Generally, it's very frequently used by the developers with respect to Spring Boot frameworks. But if you're using the WireMock, what do you mean by WireMock? What do you mean by mocking APIs? For example, let's see, I'm working in some e-commerce application and then I have to integrate with the bank. Let's see ICICI Bank server or SDFC Bank server. But bank is not there within that e-commerce company, right? Bank will never expose you their QA environment or something like that, or some payment gateways or payment APIs are there. So in that case, we have to test it. We have to make sure that okay, our integration test cases are working fine or not. So in that case, what we will do, we will try to mimic something. We will try to create some dummy APIs for those bank servers or payment gateways or something. And then we have to hit those servers, and these servers will give me some response, and it will try to mimic the same response the way ICICI Bank or some other bank servers or payment gateways are giving to me. So this is called mocking APIs. This is called like creating some dummy APIs and defining the behavior. One very good example, let's see, if you are taking some car, rent a car company is there. Let's see, XYZ. Let's see, um, European cars are there, or Sixt is there, or let's see, in India we have different car rental companies are there. You can just go to the car and then from the app you can lock and unlock. But that is required the physical hardware, right? But how will you mimic the same thing? How will you define the behavior in the form of APIs? Here you can do that with the help of mocking APIs. So you can hardware testing, Bluetooth testing, Raspberry devices are there. Those behaviors you can define with the help of mocking APIs, and whatever the response that you are getting in the real-time application, the real-time production server, same mimic you can do it here as well, so that you can write your end-to-end test cases. Otherwise, your test coverage is not completely done. Otherwise, you are missing that important part, that integration part, testing that you are not doing it properly. So that is what simulate the behavior of the APIs, of the third-party APIs or some hardware APIs. You can mock it and then you can write your test cases accordingly. So along with the wire mock, you can use it. Within the rest assured also, you can write it and then you can integrate with the wire mock and then write your end-to-end test cases here, right? And some real-time examples in the project work that you should always work with that. I have already given some really good examples and points over here that you have to start looking into that Booker APIs or Weather APIs, IMDb APIs, Authentication APIs, GitHub APIs, Twitter, and GoRest. There are various other different examples also available in the market. So pick where some data is really good. Plus, authentication is very much required for your practice point of view. Then only you will get the feel of real-time applications and everything with respect to API, right? So this is like I thought of covering here, and really want to give some idea because people are actually confused with respect to API automation, that what to learn and what not to learn. Along with that, there are a couple of some basic important points that I really want to highlight here. I've not written there in the documentation, but try to learn about the microservices and the contract-based testing also, right? Microservices and the contract testing. Contract testing is very important for the schema point of view. Let's see, you and me are talking together, and we have already created a contract between us that whenever I ask something, you have to give me the same data so that I can supply this data to someone else, right? So I'm expecting always the same data from you. So there is a contract between two parties or two servers or two different parties, we can say, or two different systems, we can say. So if the contract is broken, or let's say contract is breached, then it means I'm getting the wrong data, or maybe I'm not getting any specific data. Then how would I supply the same data to my clients, right? Same thing, the contract testing is here, which is very, very important for the backend point of view, where the contract is signed, the schema is already created, the schema validations are very important here, and then we have to validate that. So there are various tools are there in the market like Pact. You can use it for the contract in the microservices testing point of view. Use it here. Along with that, there are some other different types of API implementations are available in the market. Let's see, GraphQL APIs, which is like really great. Like, what do you mean by GraphQL, not QA? GraphQL APIs. How exactly they are different from the REST APIs? Because what happens in the REST API, the moment we send the request, we are getting the huge amount of data, right? But in the GraphQL, you can define the complete query. On the basis of your query, you will get the data, right? So you can easily, client is saying that, okay, this is what I want. I don't want the thousand of data. I wanted, okay, only specific of data, and that specific of data, this is my condition, this is my query, you can supply, and then only that particular data from the different backend sources, you are getting it, and then you are using it there. So here in the GraphQL APIs, how exactly they are different. What do you mean by mutation? What do you mean by query APIs and everything? You have to learn about it, which is very popular these days. So you should have some idea. You can automate with the rest assured also. GraphQL is already supported in the Postman as well. You can do that as well here as well. Other than that, if you have some idea, you can have some idea about, let's say, XML RPC calls, which is like slightly different. It's not that like mandatory to know about it, but RPC calls, what do you mean by a microservices call, and how exactly RPC client is calling the APIs internally and interacting with the specific database and getting the data and response and everything. You can go with that as well. So if you cover all these important points, I think for API testing point of view, these things are more than enough. And then the functional part is done. Then you can think about some performance testing also with respect to your APIs. So if you really want to know that which performance testing tool that I really want to learn performance testing for the APIs, I would start with evergreen tool, that is JMeter. You can use it, which is very popular, community support, very stable, and amazing product. You can talk about Gatling also. Gatling is already supported with the Java and Scala language both. You can use it here. Coming from the JavaScript background, you can use K6 also, which is very popular with JavaScript and the TypeScript code that you can write it here, right? So JMeter is there, Gatling is there, K6 is there, Load Runner is there, but this is a paid tool, and then there are NeoLoad and other different paid tools also available in the market. But I think these three very popular tools I always prefer for the performance testing point of view. You can use it here. Along with that, there are some companies they are still using the SOAP UI. That is also a very popular tool around 7-8 years back. That time we used to do with a lot of SOAP-based APIs. We used to have it and we used to automate with the SOAP UI. SOAP UI is actually supporting the JavaScript and the Groovy language. You can write your code in Groovy. Groovy is just a wrapper on top of JDK. Like most of the syntax looks like exactly like Java. And now with the Groovy, I think SOAP UI 3, you can use JavaScript also here. So along with SOAP UI, you can do both. You can automate your REST APIs as well as your SOAP-based APIs also. You can use it here, right? But if you really want to know about SOAP UI, which is not that popular because of other, because SOAP UI also, that is a pricing model is available and then you have to pay for it, and some community free version is also available. But uh, you have to download it, you have to learn all the features and everything, just like we used to work with the QTP. Same thing, graphical user interface is available. But after Postman and the rest assured, the popularity of SOAP UI, in my opinion, is not that much as compared to Postman and the rest assured. So that's a last choice I would prefer. And if you really want to know, you can go with the separate thing with the SOAP UI dedicatedly if you really want to learn, or specifically a client is asking for that, then only you should, I think, focus and spend time on that. Otherwise, these tools are more than enough for that. Like tools like Karate and all those things also there. So these are the different Java clients are available. You can use it here. So that is the important thing that I really wanted to highlight. Let me let me check if we have any kind of further questions. We can take it. I'll share this documentation after the video. I'll just okay. So any question? Let me check because I did not see the comment section yet. And Sumana is saying with the little Selenium Java knowledge, we can start API. Yes, of course, Sumana, you can do that. That will help you a lot if you're already coming from Selenium and Java background. You can easily learn this thing as well. Just a second, let me check why comments are not displaying properly. Just a second, let me refresh this page. Okay, let me check what is just okay. That's Video is actually internally declared with the private video. That's why I'm not able to see the all the comments back to back. Just a second. Let me make it. Hmm. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Okay, fine. So let me take the questions now quickly, and we'll take only API related questions, not anything else, because it will. Okay. Okay, let me check. Yeah, sure. You can use REST API with REST Assured, Karate, Catalan Studio also, Ready API, Swagger. Swagger is just for the documentation point of view, but if you talk about among all these tools, I would always go with the REST Assured because REST Assured will having some amazing features, some really like almost all the features. Personally, I would prefer as compared to Karate or Catalan because there are hundreds of clients are available. You can use any of them, but which one is very popular? I think I'll go with that. In fact, robot framework also you can use with the API. You can use that as well. Okay. So where can I for API testing? Where can I practice? Doon Vasi, you can just contact me separately, or you can check our website also for the API testing and API courses point of view. If you have any questions, we'll definitely help you out. Maybe we can check separately. Common man is asking. Good to know that authentication token and mostly in the Postman it works, but Java won't work. No, we have to write the code for that. If your token and everything is properly configured and written, you can easily do that. If it's working fine in the Postman, it will work for the rest assured with the Java code as well. Okay, so Bruno tool, I'm not aware of it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. There are n number of tools are there in the market for API. A number of clients also available in there, but these are the popular tools and the clients which I have just shown you. You can do that as well. I'm trying to integrate Postman, Jenkins, X-Ray, and want to see the test result in X-Ray. Better option would be Postman, X-Ray directly integration without Jenkins. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. But if you really want to use with the Postman, then you have to know the X-Ray Zira client APIs, and then you have to call that, and you have to use it in the Postman. Although I have never tried, but I think it is doable without Jenkins. So Jenkins is really actually doesn't matter. And then after that, when you run your collection, it will automatically update the test cases result and everything in the X-ray. So for that, you have to use the X-ray client APIs for that. Okay. So for API automation, which technology should I prefer, Purushottam? That is what that we discussed here. For API automation, you should go first of all learn the basics: Postman, REST Assured, GraphQL, and microservices. You can talk about the pact also, and then and the mocking services and all those things. These are the 4 or 5 important things and tool and tech that you have to learn. Rest assured, Java framework videos on channel, 2 3 videos are there, but not the full flesh videos for the rest assured on the channel. But it's part of the course. ETL automation testing, Sandhya, we haven't planned yet. Maybe in future we can plan it, but ETL generally I don't prefer to add with the backend. So that's a totally different thing, totally different tools and tech that we have to use it for the ETL automation testing point of view. How we can code coverage? Any suggestion? So code coverage, there are various tools out there. You can just use Jacoco or like and Sonar Cube, and these tools are available. Sonar Cube is really best. It's really good, especially I've already prepared one video also, which will scan all the vulnerabilities and any repeated code or duplicate code or any number of suggestions. It will give the scorecard also for your code and everything. So try and do a POC on the Sonar Cube, Tarun. It will help you a lot for that. AP testing with the robot framework, you can go with the documentation, you can configure it and then you can do it. But personally, I don't prefer a robot framework. It's totally your choice if you really want to use that. Generally, I don't prefer any codeless automation tool for the API's point of view. I really want to write the code. And in fact, in the Postman also, I really want to write the code in the JavaScript so that I'll give complete freedom, a number of options to design my framework, complete freedom to manipulate and write more and more test cases in future properly, and creating the libraries and document it and then circulate the library with other uh, automation engineers so that they can also leverage it. So that is the best approach that I always prefer and follow. Okay, so to do automation API, which is best Java or Python or JavaScript, Vindesha Prasad, you can use any of them. If you're coming, let's say, from the Python background, why to start with the Java unnecessary? Then in that case, go with the Python modules, request module that you can use it. For JavaScript also, if you're coming, let's say, from the Playwright or Cypress background, you can easily do that within Playwright. Within Cypress, they support internal support, native support for the APIs. Some third-party JavaScript client also you can use it, like Pactum and everything. With K6 also, you can do some for functional testing. That also you can do it later on. Same K6 script, you can convert it to the performance testing point of view also, you can use it there, right? Madhu is asking, hi, sir, I have asked to do POC in my organization for Swagger API automation. First of all, there is no like Swagger API automation. Swagger is a documentation for the APIs, right? We are not going to automate Swagger. Swagger is just having the documentation, all the requests, response, whatever I have shown you, right, earlier. That is what the Swagger is having it. You can define the schema, you can define the URL, payload, JSON payload, XML payload, what will be the response and everything. And you can hit it and then you can get it. But Swagger is not dedicatedly designed for a testing point of view or test automation point of view, right? So for Swagger API automation, that's the wrong term that you are using. API documentation is there in the Swagger. You have to refer Swagger to write API automation separately for that. Ravi Kumar is saying, Naveen, I'm good. I'm having a good knowledge on Java with Selenium, front-end UI, and BDD. I'm not good in JavaScript knowledge. Which one I have to select, like Cypress or Playwright, or focus on the API automation? Ravi, you have to focus any of them as such. But if you really want to use Cypress or Playwright, both are really competitive tools, are really good in the market. But if you really want to learn with respect to JavaScript, I would advise you to go with Playwright maybe first, and then later on you can go with the Cypress also. Check that, okay, what is the market opportunity and everything. If you're coming from the Selenium background, it will be easy for you to learn Cypress and the Playwright also. First of all, it's Playwright. The spelling is wrong. WRIGHT, not RIT. So, and you have to add the flavor of API automation also because Cypress and Playwright, let's see if you're using only for the UI automation point of view. Then along with that, you can go with the API automation as well. And then design one framework or do some POC end to end. That will help you a lot along with the UI as well. Bandover is asking CDEC किया है कोई job मिलेगा? Just keep learning things. Talk to me separately after CDEC what exactly the goal and everything, and what are different courses if you really want to learn. Contact me. We have a couple of candidates earlier coming from the CDEC background, and then they got the job. But you have to learn. You have to learn the right tools and tech, and I'm sure that after that you can prepare your resume accordingly, and you can go with that. Hi Naveen, she's asking, we have transformation in my organization. Now we are moving from manual to automation. That's good, Shri. That's good to know. How to simply start API automation? Yes, API automation is the right fit for that. If you have the backend APIs or API automation, you can talk to a developer. Then start with that, and then try to pick the right tool. Start with the Postman. I would advise you get the feel of APIs, get the feel of API automation, and then check that can we really automate and how many APIs maybe in future and what are the different test cases we can create. Document it, do some POC, and then on the basis of that, you decide I really want to go with the rest assured later or not. Now, Postman is a paid version, or we can try it's free also. Yes, Purushottam, you can try with the free version also. That's not an issue. With the paid version, they have some dedicated extra services and extra support is also available. That is, I think, not required for the practice point of view. Later on, if you are joining a company, maybe that company will get the license or purchase the license for you. Then you can use all the features of that. Some features like, let's see, for example, if you really want to run a runner, I think only 25 times in a day you can do it, or right from the browser side or from the client side. So that is some basic limitations are available. Okay, that you have to pay for it, then only you can run it properly. Otherwise, most of the things are actually absolutely free of cost. Muzaffar Ahmed is saying, I have knowledge in Java with Selenium. I'm switching project now. I have one opportunity with JavaScript with Cucumber. Yeah, go with that. Whatever the opportunities and learnings that opportunity that you are getting, just go with that. Right? It's not about that lifetime you will write only and only Selenium with Java. If you're getting some other tool, other opportunities, try to learn those things everywhere. Try to learn and see the positive aspect that yeah, this is what the tool and everything, and maybe some new language, the specific tool that you really want to learn. Go with that. Take that opportunity in the beginning of your career, and then that will always be a good for you. Okay, within the company, if you're getting some really good opportunity, go with that. I'm sure it will help you a lot in your career. Hi Ravi, our organization environment are very unstable and slow every time due to multiple alerts or automation script fails. Shubhojit Vishwas is asking. So, Shubhojit, this is not the right time for automation. Automation is always done when the things are stable. Right? Your system is stable, your platforms are stable, your environment is actually stable. You are getting a build, and every time it's getting failed. The moment you try to click on a specific link or anything and functionality not working, some workflow is broken, then in that case, what is the use of doing unnecessary automation here, right? So better you avoid automation, make it stable, do proper testing, proper exploratory testing there, and then make it stable. Then the things are stable. Then you go with the automation here. That is always a right approach here, right? Otherwise, you are wasting time. Let's say today it's working, tomorrow automation is broken. It's not working, so your entire effort is gone. You have put a lot of efforts for, let's say, for next 1 month and 2 months, and then your builds are still not stable. Then what is the use of writing that lengthy code or heavy code in automation unnecessary? So better you focus on the testing part, make it stable, and then do for automation. Dhaval is saying, thank you, sir, for the Selenium Java batch. Hey, Dhaval, how are you? Now I'm working on the Cypress automation. Thank you so much for sharing knowledge. आपका API automation का batch भी join करना है. कब से start करोगे, sir? Okay, Dhaval, it's not for the API batch promotion, but you can check. We recently announced, and you can check on naveenautomationlabs.com. And then if you're really interested, you can enroll for that. Nancy, hi, Naveen. Do you recommend learning JMeter for API performance testing? Can you please confirm? Yes, JMeter is really good. Some really good resources are available. It's very popular, and if you have a normal requirement for the API performance testing or some later on, if you really want to enhance it properly, you can do that. You can scale it also. Yes, thumbs up for the JMeter all the time. So go with that. Okay, let me just check the quick comments. Hi, Naveen. Why people are not using HTTP client for API automation? I'm seeing more on the rest assured library. Usha Rani is asking. Yeah, Usha, that's true. HTTP client is actually, if you see that on top of HTTP client only, rest assured library is built. The only thing people are not using HTTP clients is a very good question actually, because HTTP client is the libraries are little complex, right? The methods and the different the APIs that they have given to automate the different calls, they are not that straightforward, right? So what exactly rest assured they have done? They have created the wrapper on top of that, some generic functions and wrapper functions on top of HTTP client with some very straightforward functions and the user-friendly functions that they have given, and that's why people are liking it. Simple given when then format that they have given in the rest assured. But in HTTP client, everything you have to write from the scratch, a core client libraries that you have to use it, and then write the proper logic and everything. For everything, there is a logic that you have to write. So that is why people are actually using rest assured as compared to HTTP client. But HTTP, if you have the hold on the HTTP client, check on my channel, around 7 to 8 videos are there on HTTP client. And the same code will work today also. Just go and check. That will give you a very good clear picture that HTTP client is, as compared to REST assured, is slightly fast because it's not a wrapper on top of other HTTP client. Why? Right? So REST assured is on top of HTTP client. So obviously REST assured will take some time to hit the APIs and get the response. The HTTP client is very, very fast. So generally libraries like let's say Selenium, they are using Java JDK HTTP client 11 internally for that. Okay, so they are not using any REST assured. They are internally calling the APIs. They are interacting with the Chrome driver server and everything and getting the response. For that thing, they are using internally HTTP client. But for us, you can ignore it. You can use REST assured for that. Shri Update says, I would like to say thank you. I started testing journey with you videos and online content. I started job in 2019, 15K. Now I'm in abroad doing my dream job. Okay, in 2019, 15K you are making. Now you are in abroad doing my great dream job. So thank you, first of all, and congratulations, Shri. And I wish you all the best. And I mean, to shift from Selenium Java to Playwright with .NET is easy. Yes, it is easy. Telu Abhinay is asking, why not? You can do that. So Selenium Java to Playwright with .NET, but Playwright with .NET, good to know, good to learn. But you check the market demand also, right? I think the Playwright is way popular with the JavaScript and TypeScript and Java Python also. Check with .NET is really needed. But if first of all you are coming from the Java background, better you start with Playwright with Java and later on Playwright with JavaScript or TypeScript. That is actually a better combination. Okay, got it. Samir is saying, hi Naveen, good to see you on YouTube after a long time. We'll try to join your API batch. Yeah, sure, Samir. That's again for me also. It's been a long time on the channel, but we will be regular for sure in future as well. Sujan is asking, can you please cover adding one API project to Amazon Cloud or any other cloud environment as part of this course? Sujan, we will see because here the cloud actually doesn't matter. So what exactly you want to do with the cloud? Maybe some cloud APIs you want to use, or you want to host your APIs on the or API automation. Maybe we can Dockerize it and we can maybe some AWS Docker registry we can use it and we can host it there and then from there we can run it or from there we can pull it and then we can run it. So that will be the use case. But if you really want to use Amazon Cloud APIs, but which service API you want to use, we have to be very specific about it. So I'll check if I can add something with respect to that content. So how do we proceed? Mitra is asking, how do we proceed if the org has in-sprint automation for API testing? See, in-sprint automation for API testing, I think it's a doable because first of all, that API testing is, I would say, the stable as compared to the UI automation. It's not like today it's working, tomorrow it's not working. It's like if the schema, if the data, if the URL endpoint query parameters are already defined properly, and then you know that when I hit the API, what exactly the kind of response and the payload that I'm getting it, and you just need to automate that. If the framework is already in place, you just need to write and add the test cases on top of that. So I think in-sprint automation is very much doable because the developers will always prepare the APIs, right? They will always prepare the endpoint URLs. UI actually takes some time to implement CSS and all those things, and then writing the UI and UI pages and everything. That you can talk later. That you can think about later with respect to Selenium. Maybe N+1 or N+2 cycle you can follow. But within an automation, if you really want to use for API, in a sprint automation, you can do that. It is actually doable, but make sure that your skeleton, the foundation is actually ready for your API automation framework. So once the framework is ready, then on top of that, you just need to add your libraries and test cases, and that's it, right. Okay. Usha Rani saying, Naveen, can you please cover domain specific videos like finance or healthcare? Okay, we'll try something, maybe finance and healthcare. But this is actually injustice to everyone because let's see, if I'm not coming from the healthcare background, then I cannot give you the details about that. So better from which domain that you are coming. Let's see, if you are coming from the finance or fintech or healthcare, you are the right person to do that. I really don't like. I have never worked with the let's see, for example, with the telecom domain. So I'm not the right person to give you the advice on the telecom domain because I've never exposed with that. I don't want to go with the bookish knowledge or the theoretical knowledge. That's why on my channel I don't generally don't prefer that kind of videos, right? Because my background is, let's see, coming from, let's see, for example, finance, or coming from the e-commerce, or coming from the let's say mobility services background. So I can talk about that, but will try whatever domain knowledge that I'm having it. I'll try to prepare some video on top of that. Hey, my saying, hi Naveen, I don't have much exposed to Java. I work completely on manual testing. We are planning to implement Playwright TypeScript. In this case, do I need to have Java knowledge? No, Hema, you don't need to learn about Java if you are planning to implement Playwright with the TypeScript. So please improve your JavaScript knowledge and the TypeScript knowledge because you are going to use Playwright with the TypeScript. So Java has no role in that case. But if you really want to learn Selenium with Java or rest assured with Java, then obviously the core Java knowledge is very much required here. And never jump to the specific automation tool without the programming. The basics of programming, like basics of conditional operators, loops, basics of object oriented, when to use what, how to develop a logic, right? Let's see, for example, in the TypeScript or in the JavaScript, what do you mean by asynchronous programming? What do you mean by async, await, different types of functions? What do you mean by lambda function, anonymous function, and all those things? What do you mean by arrays, the strings? You should know about all those things because these will be your daily routine activities. You cannot write a single line of code if you are not aware of it, right? For example, some basic example, let's see, if you really want to automate and you have to fill the form, or let's say you have to automate a web table where you have to fetch the data in the form of rows and columns. So you have to write, let's see, one for loop or two for loop, and then you have to maintain one array also, and you have to fetch the data. Some 2D array you have to maintain, and then store the data over there, and then fetch it, or write a for loop or while loop for the pagination point of view, row by row, column by column, and all those things. So how do you develop this logic? So if you're not comfortable with the language, you will always struggle. You will not enjoy automation. That is what some people they do this mistake. Nowadays, people are actually having a lot of awareness because of channels, because of YouTube things and everything. But if you talk about 5 years and 7 years back, people are actually jumping into Selenium or a specific tool directly because testing is a field where people are having the fear of automation, fear of coding and everything. So now, 10 years back, 7 years back, 8 years back, that time we were facing this problem. Okay, I directly were jumping into QTP or jumping into Selenium part. But my programming, my basics are really poor. Then in that case, I will always struggle, right? So that's my personal advice. Always go with in my training also, in the courses also, first spend majority of your time in the programming, whatever the programming that you are having it, and then move to the automation part. Pramod is asking, hi Naveen, I'm learning Python Selenium. What is the market in future? It's really great, no doubt about it. And for PyTest framework, I see your videos. Happy to join Playwright batch ahead. Thank you. Sure, Pramod. We'll see about something with respect to Playwright also. But whatever you're doing, Selenium with Python and the PyTest and everything, go with that. Best of luck. It's a great tool, great community support with the Python also. One of the best, I would say, uh, uh, language binding announced by Selenium guys. So go with that. Let's stick to that. Same thing. Muzaffar Ahmed is saying, when are you doing testing meetup in Chennai? We'll do it for sure, Muzaffar, because last year we had one RTBQA meetup in Chennai. We loved it, the Chennai crowd and everything. We got some really good hospitality and then really good crowd from the Chennai. I'm sure that maybe somewhere we can travel all the way from Bangalore to Chennai once again for the next QA meetup. Subhashi Sahu is saying, Naveen, can you give a path about AWS Cloud Automate? Subhashi, what do you want to automate in the AWS Cloud? It's a very subjective term. Like it's a very raw term that we have written. That what do you mean by AWS Cloud Automate? What do you want to automate there? You want to automate a specific cloud APIs or cloud infrastructure or cloud services or what? Right? So be specific. What exactly you want there? Dhawan is saying, Naveen, I had a fear of programming language. I used to learn Java by myself, but failed many times. I used to learn from your videos as well, but it was just a copy paste. I was doing that for around 2 years. But last year I joined Java Selenium batch and I've improved a lot. No fear of programming. I can do programming in any language. Great, Dhawan. I don't want to promote all the training thing over here. This is just for the community, but that's good that you're learning. It's all about the learning. It's all about learning from the right resource, from the right person, from the right people. at the right time. That's very important, with the right direction. So good that okay, training and my content actually help you to learn that. Keep doing the same thing. Okay, let's quickly take what package should I expect for 9 years testing experience and 6 years automation? Soya Basir is asking. So package wise, again, that's the same thing that we discussed in the last session also. Quickly update. I really don't want to, cannot give you any number after 9 years, 6 years. It depends on your previous project, depends on the previous company package. What is your current CTC, your background, your knowledge, your skills, and everything, right? 9 year experienced guy in, let's see, in SDET or in automation, 9 year experienced guy only in testing or only in manual testing. We cannot say that, okay, after 9 years, you will get, let's see, 30 lakhs or 35 lakhs, right? It depends. Let's say your package is 5 lakhs and giving, demanding for 35 lakhs is like little unfair. So it depends on a lot of other factors also, company to company, budget and everything, city wise also, background also, your current company, your current background. It depends on a lot of factors. On the basis of that, company will decide that what will be the ideal package for 9 years experience guy or 6 year experience guy in automation or in testing. Okay, so which topic is lead code do I need to prepare for the cracking product based companies? Proneet, again, it's a different way of learning the things of our practice and the preparation for the some topmost product based companies where lead code or maybe hacker rank people are asking about those questions. So it's a long journey. So spend good amount of time, prepare your mindset, prepare your basics first of all that in the programming, and then try to learn about the basis of data structures and the algorithms. If you're coming, let's say, from the Java background, try to improve your collections and everything. Okay, that particular problem, which data structure that I have to use? I have to go with the array or array list or linked list or maps or hash map or linked hash map, tree map, sorted map, vector queues. Which right collection that I have to use for that to solve that particular problem? And then with the practice, it will come into the picture, right? Learn about the time complexities, the space complexities. I have to solve that particular problem within that particular time complexity. Learn about the string manipulations, array-based questions, sorting algorithm, search algorithm, binary search. So when you go through with all those things and then try to solve some basics to medium to complex problems on lead code, and then try to go through some whatever the solutions. First you try it, attempt it, and then after that you try that what exactly other people they actually given the solution for that, right? Why your solution is not optimized or not working properly. So it will take time, right? It is not one time or 10 days journey or 1 month journey. Along with the practice, it will take, and it should be a regular practice. Because what happens when you go for the interviews in the let's see, in any XYZ company, and you are getting, let's say, only 30 minutes to solve two problems on lead code. So if you have seen that particular question earlier, then only you can solve it. Otherwise, you will always struggle. So that is where is here the competition is with other people who are actually solving the problem within 15 minutes, and you are actually solving the problem within 1 hour. So obviously that the 15 minutes guy will be picked, right? So that is all about the practice that you are doing it actually. Okay, how do I get opportunity for the foreign-based remote jobs? What websites do I need to follow, Proneet? You can check Indeed.com, or best thing is the LinkedIn, and then pick that, okay, where exactly you really want to go in Europe or US or everywhere, because getting the US opportunities are very difficult if you're coming from India, because you have to apply for the visa and all those things. So that's a totally different process, but you can try with the Australia, UAE, and you can apply for the Canada also. You can go and then you can search for the jobs and remote jobs. You can check through LinkedIn also, Indeed.com or Federal.com. There are many websites are available. You can check with that. We are looking for the best automation testing tool at the enterprise level, which is supports cloud platform currently. One is XLQ, and any other tool would you like to suggest would be great. Yeah, you can go with XLQ. It's a good tool. But what exactly the requirement? Like cloud platform, support cloud platform. And cloud platform, what kind of cloud platform? What exactly you are looking for? What is the scope? What is the context, Abdul? Maybe you can contact me separately. I can guide you something, and accordingly we can. I can just give you once you give me the context. I can tell you according to that context what would be the best automation tool fit for that. Utkarsh, I think already having a video working with JSON with Java. Go and check that with respect to HTTP client. POSO and serialization and deserialization. I've already covered that. So Gaurav is saying real-time example of time complexity is SDIT. So Gaurav, real-time example, I'll tell you. For example, let's see, if I ask you there is a box and 100 balls are there, right? And in that, and that box is completely covered, you cannot see the balls. And there are 100 balls are there and only one red ball and 99 are green balls are there. So if I ask you that, okay, you have to pick the red ball. So what will be your approach to pick that one, right? So if I'm solving that problem within 5 minutes because I'm using some algorithm to find that particular red ball, and you are taking, let's say, full day. So we both are solving the problem, but I'm solving the problem within 5 minutes. You are solving the problem in 24 hours. So this is a simple example in the real time that how exactly you are writing a better code or optimized code to solve a specific problem, which is taking less amount of time when you have a large set of data, right? So here the time complexity comes into the picture. Everyone is writing the code, everyone is solving the problem, but how smartly and better optimized code that you're writing to solve that problem in real time application point of view. For example, let's say if you go to the Amazon, you're searching something on, let's say, shoes, and you are getting the results in, let's see, 50 seconds. But you go to some other application and you're getting the result within 5 seconds. So both are giving the result. One application is giving in 50 seconds, one application is giving within 5 seconds. So in that case, the better user experience is always with the second application where getting the data in within 5 seconds. Why? Because they have written the optimized code or a better code. So where the time complexity comes into the picture. So when you have huge amount of data, let's see 30,000, 40,000, and out of that you have to display only 100 shoes out of 30,000. So what exactly the code that you have written, the better optimized code that you have written, where the time complexity comes into the picture. It would be denoted in the form of ON square, O of log n. You must have heard about these terms, right? Best case, average case, good case. So you have to learn about these terminologies for that. Okay, Rahul, we'll prepare something on the security testing for sure, right? Okay, so how much bare minimum data structure do we have on real time? Like from your experience, do we greedy recursion tree graphs and everything? Which, well, frankly speaking, you're also aware of it. Practically, we are not going to use, let's see, greedy recursive tree graphs, right? Some really complex data structure. We are not going to use it in the test automation, but this is the fashion these days in the industry where people are actually checking your knowledge on the basis of the in some really good product based companies where data structure based questions are there and they are really judging your knowledge on the basis of that only. So that is what I really don't like this particular pattern. Agree, right, guys? If you agree on that, you say yes or no. That don't you think? Let's see, I'm a 10 years or 15-year experience guy. I'm really good in testing and test automation, and I'm a really great having a good testing mindset, and then some really amazing projects that I have done in the testing, and then I can solve a lot of good problems in the testing. And my experience in testing is also really good. Some really good complex projects and companies that I have worked with that. And then you are checking suddenly my knowledge on the data structure just for one question I'm not able to solve it. And then you are rejecting me. So don't you think it's a loss of that company or that candidate? Just because of those unnecessary things, or maybe the DSA questions, that you are actually losing a really good candidate from the market. That candidate, if you hire, that candidate can do magic, can do wonders in your application, in your project, right? So this is where actually the problem, that they are not checking the overall knowledge, they're just rejecting immediately. According to me, what I used to, we have to have it that some basics questions on the programming and everything, that this guy is really able to write the automation code or basic questions on the data structure algorithms and everything. But along with that, I really want to check your testing knowledge, how exactly you are thinking for a testing point of view, for the user point of view, the context, and you are thinking in the right direction for the with respect to testing mindset or not. How exactly you are actually helping me to solve a company problem or the product problem, right? What are different testing strategies and test cases that you are writing, your ability for testing and bug finding abilities and everything. So I'll check your you on the basis of that. I'll judge you on the basis of that, not just on a questions on the greedy recursive problem or something like that. Just because of that, it is actually demotivating for the candidates who are actually good in testing. And after 10 years, 15 years, where exactly you're going to use those algorithms in your test automation code, right? That is not practically every time possible. May here and there, some libraries already using it internally, but that library you are already doing it. So better, I would check your knowledge on the basis of whatever the programming language, some core concepts that is really required, so that I'll get the feel, I get the confidence that, okay, yeah, this person is not only doing basics of testing, but good in test automation, right? The code design patterns, object oriented. These things is the right way. These things are the right way to check a specific candidate for test automation profile point of view. Okay, so okay, Praneet is asking one more question that how can I get updated about the tools and the other additional requirements with the market trends which are needed to enter as an SDET? See, Praneet, this is the main thing. This is not about that, okay, today you have learned Selenium and then you are free now. No, it's not like that. Every day there is a learning. Every day there is a scope of learning. Every day you have to upgrade yourself. Whatever the new things are there in the market, it's not like that once you have learned something and your job is done. In the IT, especially in automation, there are a lot of new things. Every day, new tools and technologies are there. You should have at least some idea that what is happening in the market, what exactly other people are doing. Can I improve my process? Can I improve my programming? Can I improve the how exactly I'm solving a problem? Do we have a better solution? So keep referring those blogs, documentation, videos, resources, training, maybe courses, whatever. It's totally up to you, right? The internet is actually full of resource, full of education data, and then courses. A lot of good things are available, but junk is also there. But don't I would say the web pollution is also there because of chat gpt, so many LinkedIn posts or documentation people are preparing it, but the core concepts are very important here, that whenever new thing is there, go through their official documentation. What are the new things in Selenium? Selenium version. What is the Selenium? What exactly Selenium is planning in future? What are the new release notes available in the Playwright or in the Cypress? What are the new things? Right? Follow some Medium blogs. Prepare your Medium blogs and everything. Go with that, and then keep up to date yourself. Do some POC hand to end. It's not like, okay, I'm not using that feature, so why should I learn? Do some POC in your Eclipse or IntelliJ, and then you will get the confidence that, okay, yes, I'm always up to date in the market. Because what will happen after 2 years or 3 years, again, you really want to switch. You don't need to revise and look into those things which already happened in last 3 years. So if you are already up to date regularly, if you are looking into the market and the tool and a specific different new things are there with respect to tool, then your preparation that you are already doing every day. This is how we learn. This is how we can talk at a time of interview properly. Otherwise, you really need some good amount of time to revise the things again and then go with that for the interviews. Okay, so I think we'll take one last question because we will otherwise it will be too late. What is the future of QA automation engineer? Suruchi Thakur is asking. After 10 to 12 years, if you have done 60% automation, 40% manual testing, so Suruchi, that's a very good question. It's a valid question. Everyone should should think about that. What is my future in testing after 10 years or 12 years? Like, so there are varieties of various jobs or various career path that you can pick. Maybe you can see. Let's start with the test automation architect, principal engineer, principal test automation engineer, or individual contributor. Some people are really happy with the automation thing. Okay, next 20 years, 25 years also, I'm happy with that. I'll do my testing. I'll do my test automation. I'll work like a simple consultant in automation, or maybe the individual contributor, and then good to go with that. That is the one career path. Second career path, okay, no, I really want to become a manager, or maybe SZ manager or engineering manager. After 12 years or 13 years, you can do that as well. You can move your profile, let's say, to the product manager or product owner or business analyst, because you're coming from the testing background. You understand the stakeholders, client requirement, and everything. So that is another good opportunity for you after 12 years or 13 years. So prepare your initial 10 years or 12 years technically, communication wise. Groom yourself that how to talk to to the stakeholders, to the client, improve your communication, improve your writing skills and everything, and behavioral skills, how to talk and how to get the things done, your managerial skills and everything, or leadership skills, improve that. Right, that will help you a lot in terms of changing the career. Okay, I think I got stuck here. Okay, I think sorry about that. I got disconnected suddenly. Using actually this is StreamYard, which is a little slow actually. Okay, anyway, so just can you confirm that we can pick quickly two, three more questions? But before that, can you confirm you were able to hear me properly once again? So, Brolekal, so you're asking, Naveen, I want to create a fresh framework using Selenium and JUnit using page object model. How would you advise I go about any additional updates? I hope you answer this. Yeah, Brolek, you can do that. It's very straightforward. There are a lot of resources are also available. If you are having proper knowledge on the Selenium and the Java, and along with the page object model design pattern, start looking into your application locators and everything. And for every page, you try to create a number of page classes, define some utilities, and define your page locators and the page libraries, and start writing the test layer in the JUnit. Write your test cases with annotation, assertions, and everything. So, uh, right, and after that, you can integrate with your reporting tools like LAO report or extend report or logs, Log4j API. You can add it for the logs point of view. And I think that's really good to go with that. Later on, you can create the runners to run your test cases, and that's it. So this is again the same standard way of designing the framework with the page object model pattern. And for every page, maintain the page object and use a page chaining model for the workflows. Zigzag pattern, you have to use it. Don't write the page methods in the JUnit and don't write assertion in the page. That these are the anti patterns to make sure that okay, you are taking care of these things. And then later on, you can implement your parallel execution. Definitely, you have to implement it. UI automation, it's a bad practice if you're doing sequential execution because UI takes more time. So make sure that okay, you're running cross browsers in the parallel mode. So It's these days mandatory to implement the parallel execution in your automation, which will definitely reduce the time and everything, right? And then later on, you can integrate with your CI/CD pipeline or Azure CI/CD pipeline and everything. You can do that. Vaspi saying, does serialization require Jackson library or simple response to string does the job? No. Vaspi, better you go with the serialization and the deserialization with respect to Jackson. And simple dot to string, don't do that. It's wrong practice, right? So whenever you have to convert your POSO to, you have to serialize it. And then again, whatever the response, you have to deserialize it. So you have to do the mapping with the help of your getter and setter defined in the POSO. So better to use Jackson API for that. Suggest automation tool for web which support running parallel execution, reduce the time consuming for regression testing through Azure pipeline. See, Abdul. Once again, the same thing. I'll tell you that automation tool is, let's see, for example, Selenium. So Selenium is not deciding that it has to be executed in the parallel mode or not. It is actually up to the REST client, sorry, up to the test client, let's see TestNG or JUnit, or if you're using, let's see, for Cucumber, for example, that will decide, or where there you can configure it that you really want to, how to run it in the parallel mode, run the test cases in the parallel mode, or classes in the parallel mode, or blocks in the parallel mode. On the basis of that, you will define it here, right? And then the same configuration you have to do with your respect to your pipeline. So pipeline is nothing, just it will execute your code. And in your code, in your tool configuration, how exactly you have configured the parallel run, pipeline will just follow the same thing, right? Your pipeline, let's see, Jenkins will not decide that you really want to run in the parallel mode or not, right? It should be part of your test configuration or your framework configuration. Is there any way to automate the console logs? Manish Sharma is asking. I do Adobe Analytics testing where we have to validate the Adobe data layer. Manish, I'm not very much sure about it. Maybe you can discuss this thing separately, that what exactly you're testing it. What is Adobe data layer? I never worked with that. But console logs, we can do something with respect to what kind of logs or log files we can read it, and you really want to automate and you really want to validate something with some regular expression patterns you can define, and then you can do that. That I actually worked with console logs through automation. We were testing in one of the projects. Similar kind of approach that I actually used it over there as well. Ujjwal, yes, we have actually available a grid with the Docker together on my channel, but it's a very old video because these days Selenium 4.x architecture that you have to learn. And I know it's very less resources are available with respect to Docker. So I have one video on the Selenoid Dockerized grid. You can go and check it there on my channel. Should QA stop writing test cases and rely on the AI manual test cases creation? Rahul, no. Please don't rely completely on the AI part for the manual test cases creation. That's a, first of all, it's a wrong thing according to me. The human touch, the human intelligence is very much required for writing the test cases. So you know the context very well as compared to the the AI tool or AI thing, right? So better you just go through your acceptance criteria, discuss about it, right? So there are so many things that human intervention is or manual intervention is really much required. For example, that chat gpt or AI cannot discuss with the stakeholders or cannot discuss with the PO or cannot raise the voice and cannot raise the concerns there, right? Why are we doing this? What is the point of that? So the discussion, the brainstorming is very much required. Then only we have to write the test cases, right? That why are we doing this? What is the use of that particular use case, so that I can write my test cases on the basis of that. So that is the human intelligence which is actually missing in the AI part. AI can be used for some, let's say, quick recovery scenarios, or maybe some few test cases which are really boring to write, right? Or very tedious to write. Maybe in that case, you can go with that. But some out of the box scenarios where you know the application very well, then in that case, I think you should not 100% rely on the AI part. Okay. Okay. One last question is that I'm working as a manual tester from last 3 years, but I have learned Selenium Java, TestNG Cucumber. I have designed from scratch, but while giving interviews, can I showcase that worked on automation? Yes, NK. See, don't worry about that, right? And that's a totally wrong thing. Some people actually demotivate you also that, okay, no, you have learned something from the courses or from the training or by your own. You are not having any experience. See, somehow someone has to enter into the market, right? Into the automation. We all have done like this. It's not like that, okay, everyone is learning within the company. What if you are not getting the opportunity? As in your case, let's say you were a manual tester for 3 years and you spend time on your learning through maybe some training courses or self-learning or YouTube or whatever. It's totally up to you. But you learn. And now you really want to implement those things in some real-time project. So this is how you're preparing your interviews and resume and everything. That okay, yeah, this is what I know, and you ask the questions, and then on the basis of that, I crack it on the basis of my knowledge, and then I'll get an opportunity for that. Now your automation experience and everything will start. So at the time of interview, just try to be little simple, say that, okay, yeah, this is what I have done. Maybe you try to implement some projects, maybe try to automate some applications. Let's see, in case of UI automation, pick some good application, try to create one end-to-end scenarios, multiple test cases, run it. I prepared actually one really good video on that 1 year back, that at the time of interview, what exactly you have to showcase in terms of your preparation. You can tell that, okay, yeah, see, this is the CI/CD pipeline which is running. This is how when I try to push the code, automatically it is getting triggered. This is a report that we are getting. Test cases are running on the cloud. Test cases are running on the AWS cloud, or maybe through the Docker grid, it's running over there. So you can showcase those skills, and this is what exactly they're looking for. For testing point of view, you're already having 3 years experience, so you're already having the idea about it, that how to perform the testing and everything. But somehow you have to start right somewhere. Somewhere you have to get into the market, into that specific company, into that specific automation project, so that now you will start getting the real time exposure also for that, right? So whatever you have done in terms of practice and everything, showcase everything at the time of interview and your resume also, and then go with that. Nothing to worry about. Musa Farooq is asking, hi Naveen, how to move from manual to automation. See, first of all, this is not like manual to automation, some movement you have to do, right? It doesn't matter you're doing testing with manually or through automation tool. Testing is testing, end of the day. We all are testers. It's not like that, no, I will not touch, I will not write the test cases, I will not do any manual testing over there. No. You have to add the flavor of automation also, so that your work will be less as compared to a typical manual testing every time that we are doing it. So for example, let's say if you have 200 test cases, 30%, 40% automation you have done. So rest of the things are taken care by automation, so that I'll get enough time in my exploratory testing or manual testing to perform the function testing properly. So just add the flavor of automation by learning some different automation tools and everything. So this is not like complete movement from manual to automation, and I will not touch the manual test cases. I will not write the test cases or never execute the test cases manually and everything. I think that should not be the attitude, right? That should not be the mindset. You should go with the testing. I'm a tester. I'm a tester guy. I'm coming from a testing background. I know testing with automation also and without automation also. Significance of ISTQB certification. If you are in India, I think it's, according to my opinion, according to my observation, it's not that great. It's not that much advantage. But maybe in some other countries or maybe some specific companies, they are asking for that. If, good to have, but not that important. You can ignore that also. If company is sponsoring you, go with that. Why to put your own money and efforts and everything? You have to study for next 1 month and 2 months to crack the interview. I mean, to crack ISTQB for that. ISTQB syllabus is very theoretically done, not practically. Sometimes you're using it. It's like some definition based questions are there. That is not practically very old school method that they are using it, according to my opinion. Maybe you don't agree with that, but that's my opinion and my observation on the ISTQB syllabus. That's why on my channel I have never created any ISTQB related content on the syllabus or videos there. Yeah, Nagarjan, that's a question for your answer. Can you please plan for ISTQB Foundation playlist? No, that is not the plan, and it will never happen on my channel actually. Beck is saying, do you think Playwright is going to take over Cypress? Beck, Playwright over Cypress. I'm not saying complete. It will is going to take over, but maybe because you just recently see the pattern on NPM trends actually that Playwright is actually already took over the Cypress in terms of number of downloads and everything. Because Cypress is having some really good cool features as compared to Playwright is having some really good cool features as compared to Cypress, and a lot of limitations with respect to like iframe, new window, multi-user scenarios that you cannot do with Cypress. That is actually is happening with the Playwright, right? And the good thing about the Playwright is that multi-language support. So if you're coming from Java, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, .NET, you can work with that, right? So, and some out of the box scenarios, out of the box things also that they have done in Playwright, which is actually missing in the Cypress. I personally don't prefer Cypress for few scenarios like multi windows or multi user scenarios, cross origins, iframe support is not there. That is what is the pain point, right? And, these kind of scenarios are very common. Let's see, RBAC based control or user permission based control. Two users or three users, they have to interact. One admin and one normal user. That I cannot do at the same time in Cypress. So that is what the pain point. But it's a great tool, no doubt. A lot of people are using it, but I don't think so that okay, the Playwright will completely take over Cypress in future. Rajni is saying, hi Naveen, how's the job market? Job market is good. Actually, 2 months back, it was really great, really good. A lot of jobs I can, in fact, my students also, when I was getting a lot of mails that Naveen, we got the offer, which multiple offers, people were asking the question that, okay, which offer I should pick and everything. And then job market was good. But from last 15, 20 days, I see another pattern there. Again, maybe a little bit down. And but I think it's good. It's not that bad. People are getting jobs and interviews and everything. People are changing the jobs also, getting some really good offers, multiple offers also. So I think go with that, prepare yourself, uh, and I'm sure that will you will get the right job and right company in the market. Okay, so I think we have taken almost everything. It's already 10 here in India. So we will come live again after 2 3 days with a new topic. And still, you have any doubt or anything, you can write in the comment section. I'll share this couple of important links that I discussed with you today in the comment section, and then go with that. So best of luck to everyone for your APA learning or APA testing learning. Try that; it will help you a lot in future. So with that note, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next live in the next stream. We will connect once again. Till then, take care and God bless you always.